Tonight's Top Talker is focused on Deshaun Watson's disciplinary hearing with the NFL. A disciplinary officer who's appointed by the league and the players' union will make a ruling on Watson's punishment.
24 women have filed civil lawsuits against Watson for sexual misconduct. Last week, he settled all but 4 of those cases. However, he's always maintained his innocence. Our legal analyst Stephanie Haney joins us now. And Stephanie, talk to us about this process of this hearing that started today.
Sure, yeah, Lena, Betsy, the thing to remember here is a lot of this looks like a judicial process, but it's not. But aspects of it do look like a court of law. So the NFL will present its case against Watson, and then from there, the NFL Players Association and Watson's attorney, Jeffrey Kessler, will present their defense. Now, this attorney is a big attack attorney in this space. He represented the NFLPA on behalf of Ray Rice, Adrian Peterson, and Ezekiel Elliott, all of those involving allegations of domestic violence, Tom Brady and Deflategate, and the Bountygate players. And then from there, presiding officer Sue L. Robinson, a former federal judge, she'll determine whether the violation of a code of conduct occurred, and if so, from there, that will include a penalty in her ruling. But that is not the end of this process. That's really just kind of the beginning from here.
Okay, so this is a hearing. Both sides present their cases, the whole thing. The disciplinary officer then takes the reins, and what happens next?
Okay, so once we hear from her about her determination, if Robinson finds there was a violation, no matter what penalty she orders, either side will almost certainly appeal that penalty. From there, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell is then in the hot seat because he could either uphold that ruling and that penalty she's issued or change it, or there's a third option. He could punt the decision to a designated officer of his choosing. That person has all of the same options as Roger Goodell and could do any of the same things, uphold the penalty or make it more severe or less severe.
Oh, okay. So Robinson is a non-binding arbitrator then, right? So what are the possible outcomes then for Watson coming out of this hearing?
So there are basically 3 possible outcomes here. The NFL and Watson's team could come to a deal and settle this before Robinson issues any finding. Then it is a done deal, whatever they agree on. Another possibility, Robinson determines that there was no violation of the NFL personal conduct policy, and virtually no one thinks that's going to happen, but it is a possibility, so we do need to mention it, and that is what Watson and his team are hoping for. Now, in that case, there's nothing to appeal, and it's over, and he goes on to play for the Browns and makes a lot of money. But here's the third and most likely scenario. This ends in an appeal from either side, as I mentioned before, and if Robinson decides there has been a violation or violations, she could give the NFL what it's asking for, which is an indefinite suspension from the league with the chance to apply for reinstatement for the 2023 NFL season and then seasons beyond that. Now, if that happens, the NFLPA definitely appeals, and she could also go more lenient and order a lesser suspension. If she does that, depending on the number of games or seasons, either the NFLPA or the NFL could appeal, just depending on what that looks like.
So basically, when a decision is handed down, that's not the final decision.
That's right.
For the most part.
Yeah, we have got a couple more days of this at the very least to determine what the final result is for Watson.
Okay. Well, we will be there waiting and watching. Appreciate it. Thanks, Steph.